So I started getting harassed around the time of the royal wedding. The moment that people knew I disagreed with some things about my sisters.
I grew up as an only child, and I wished I had siblings.
It's like everything. It's lie upon lie upon lie.
Hello to all my gorgeous, good-looking friends. You are tuning into TRG's series covering the Markle vs. Markle defamation lawsuit. If you are new to the channel, welcome. For those who are returning, thank you for coming back and supporting my work. I'm always grateful to have this like-minded community to discuss the beloved royal family and the cultural impact of its members on society, particularly in America. All right, let's begin. There are a lot of moving pieces, and it's easy to fall for inaccurate information on what is being reported versus what really is happening in the process. Okay, before I get into this, let me just put the disclaimer. I am not a legal expert. I am simply just reading what's in the public court files and giving my interpretation and observations/opinions. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusion. So I've been following the steps that have been taken since the lawsuit was filed back in March of 2022. There have been a lot of recent developments in this case, and I almost wonder if the reason why Meghan hasn't been seen with the spare is because she's been with her lawyers and her PR team trying to figure out how to spin the various narratives being presented. I don't doubt that the rumors about her business meetings at the Beverly Hills Hotel have some element of truth, but it's not something I can talk about because I simply do not have any evidence, only rumors. However, with this court case, there are plenty facts and receipts that can be reviewed here to fight Meghan's misinformation and propaganda that may be planned coming our way. So let's begin by talking about the most recent development. So on February 7th, 2023, Judge Charlene Honeywell ordered that defendant Markle's motion to stay discovery is denied. Now let's get into what exactly is being denied. This is a defamation case, and as we all know, the defamation cases at times are very hard to win because there are 4 core pillars that must be fulfilled in order to prove that there was defamation. So in this case, there must be evidence to show that there was false statement purporting to be fact, a publication or communication of that statement to a third person, fault amounting to at least negligence, and damages and harm caused, which means you have to show. So in this case, there must be evidence to show that there was false statement purporting to be fact, a publication or communication of that statement to a third person, fault amounting to at least negligence, and damages and harm caused, which means you have to show quantified. Now, a lot of times these cases get thrown out in the preliminary screening because they do not meet all 4 of the criteria here. The fact that this was being assigned a judge and moving forward shows that the evidence presented was enough to warrant exploration. So what Meghan is trying to do now is try to get this case dismissed. So back on June 17th, 2022, Meghan's lawyers filed a 27-page document that refuted the claims that Samantha had put in her case. Meghan is challenging the updated complaint. So for those that don't know, Samantha had to submit an amended complaint because she had changed her lawyers and they were now representing her. So the document had been resubmitted and Meghan had been challenging it for a motion to dismiss. Now, this motion to dismiss hearing is supposed to happen on February 15th, 2023. So going back to what the judge dismissed on February 7th, 2023, which was a motion to stay on discovery, which meant holding off until they had the motion to dismiss hearing, which is happening on February 15th. The arrogance in this document is astounding. So Meghan was requesting to hold off on doing the discovery because, 1, Meghan assumes the case will be dismissed because of her arguments made to dismiss. That will be heard on the 15th. The argument in Meghan's motion to stay on discovery is that it's not a big deal. The stay will not harm the case, and the discovery will harm Meghan, as well as the discovery will harm those called and the interests protected by the First Amendment. I'm rolling my eyes on the reasons why she is requesting a hold on this discovery, because if she was really telling the truth and as authentic as she says that she is, then the discovery shouldn't be an issue. In theory, she should have nothing to hide and would want to come forward and show her truth. And good on the judge for being fair. And in the decision, she states, here, defendant Meghan Markle does not show that unusual circumstances justify the requested stay, or that prejudice or an undue burden will result if the court does not impose a stay. Although a preliminary peek at the motion to dismiss suggests that some of the claims against her may be ripe for dismissal, the review does not reveal at this time a clear indication that the court will dismiss the action of its entirety. Thus, defendant Meghan Markle does not satisfy the high standard required to stay discovery pending the resolution of a dispositive motion, having balanced the harm produced by a delay in discovery against the possibility that the court will grant the motion to dismiss. The court will deny the motion to stay discovery. And there you go. I'm glad to see that the judge is being fair about this process. I don't think that this case would have been moving forward if it was in California. It's part of the reason why Johnny Depp had his case in Virginia as opposed to doing it in California, because of the slap laws. So the judge wants this case to continue as if it is moving forward in parallel to this motion to dismiss the case coming up. So let's take a look at the schedule. So key important dates that we should be aware of, providing this case moves forward after February 15th, should the case not get dismissed entirely, are June 23rd, 2023 for mediation attempts. Let's hope that Sam doesn't settle out of court. The other one is the discovery now is July 3rd as opposed to it being April. And the trial now, as opposed to it beginning in October of this year, it will now begin in January of 2024. But we know that a lot will happen between now and January 2024. So what I'm going to do in the next video is go through the motion to dismiss and the malarkey that Meghan wrote. So what I'm going to do in the next video is go through Meghan's motion to dismiss and the massive confusion and deflection her lawyers are throwing at the argument in the attempt to confuse. We must not lose sight of the core 7 complaints that Samantha had brought forward. What the lawyers for Meghan are trying to do is break the nexus or the connection between the combination of the Oprah interview, the Finding Freedom book, and the email from Jason Knopf. And in this motion to dismiss, they are attempting to separate all of those components and deflect from all 3 of these combined together with Meghan's influence directly and indirectly to support a narrative that was damaging to her sister. Meghan was conscious and aware of her fully coordinated actions. And the way I see it, these 7 statements could not have been written in the book, Finding Freedom, without Knopf's email as the information to create this false narrative that Meghan has constructed, and it originated from the email and reinforced on the Oprah interview. So in my eyes, when you look at the 4 pillars of defamation, false statement purporting to be fact, which was given to a third party, that came directly from Meghan. Nobody else but Meghan. You know what I could see? I could see Prick Harry taking the fall for Meghan because he might in his head think that the rules don't apply and the law don't apply to him because he is a prince, and that he has some kind of immunity, which possibly could be the route that they take. Who knows? But he could very well say that it was him who was the close source that made up this stuff about Meghan's family. Don't put it past Meghan for somebody to take the fall for her. She did it to Scobie, and I'm not so sure that Scobie's going to do it again if he's called to testify, if this case moves forward. The only other person that I think would be dumb enough to do this would be her husband. So even though there is this hearing happening on February 15th, is not to say that there's going to be a decision made on that day. So they still have to conduct as if this trial is moving forward and go forward with this timeline. So as far as who is going to be deposed, well, as far as we know right now, it's Prince Harry, it's Jason Knopf, it's Christopher Boozy, it is Ashley Hale, and Meghan. Hopefully there's going to be more. I would like to see Scobie be deposed. So hopefully the judge now will issue this motion to compel the coordination of depositions, because it appears that Meghan's camp is being very difficult in their responses, as well as the coordination of getting these depositions on the calendar. And what I'm noticing in the behavior of this case is that it's very similar to the behaviors of the case in the UK on Meghan's side. So Meghan conducted the same tactics by delaying responding back to the other party. She actually, in the UK, missed many deadlines in which the court had to order her to go ahead and respond by a certain date, and she still didn't even comply with that. She missed it by like 2 days. In this situation, that's not going to fly because we take those timelines very serious. So she better not think that she's going to be pulling the same stunt. In addition, they requested for a delay in the trial or pushing out the timelines 3 months. That's why there is this push of the discovery to happen. And on Samantha's side, I believe that they agreed unopposed to allow for that time, because I think they agree that it's not enough time to get their stuff together, I guess. But anyway, that happened in the UK, where suspiciously the judge granted her a 9-month extension, which we all know that there was an alleged miscarriage that sort of was timed with her being pregnant. And yeah, you see where I'm going with that. Anyhow, this is the same kind of situation where Meghan's dragging her feet on the responses or providing any sort of evidence in the questionnaires that Samantha had issued. Again, she did the same or similar thing that she's doing now with this motion to dismiss by applying for a summary judgment in the UK, which she felt quite confident that it was overwhelmingly strong that it will go in her favor. Sounds familiar. It's not going to work in the United States. And let's not forget how she fought tooth and nail to keep those 5 friends' names private, because it would have violated their privacy and First Amendment rights. Well, it's not working here in the United States. Let's just hope the judge sees through the bullshit and that she sees that this is a pattern. And let's hope that justice really exists here in the United States and that Samantha gets the fair trial she deserves and allowed to have her voice heard. And it's time for the lies to be exposed. To me, it looks like Meghan's hiding quite a lot, because her pattern behavior in both situations are parallel to cover up whatever truth that she doesn't want come out. And it's evident now, looking at the responses that was given in the questions that Samantha had requested back in January. Now, I'm not going to read those out. Actually, I have to recommend Queen Gurty did that a few days ago. So if you haven't checked out that video and want to see the questions that Samantha asked to Meghan, definitely check her out. She's got some really funny stuff. And if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe, because she will make you laugh. For sure. I will put the video link below, but this is the video that I'm talking about. If you're interested and checking out the channel, please do so and say hello. Let's all just take a moment and pray for Samantha and hope that the judge does see that the case has merit and that it must move forward. And I do hope that the judge does approve the motion and compels Meghan to produce the evidence that Samantha is asking for, specifically this one. Request for production number 17 says, any and all written communications between you and Oprah Winfrey and or her representatives, agents, or employees which mentions or names the plaintiff. That's going to be a good one. So what Meghan did in all of the requests that were being asked by Samantha had a blanket statement in each of the responses. And it begins with, Meghan incorporates her general objections as set forth fully herein. Let me show you another example. Then there's number 15, asking any and all written communications between you and Omid Scobie which relate to or mentioning finding freedom or the plaintiff. And of course, Meghan's response was the same as the rest of them. Meghan incorporates her general objections as if set forth fully herein. Meghan further objects that this request assumes facts, namely, that any such communications exists. Meghan further objects that this request is duplicative on RFP number or request for production number 12. And let me just tell you something. I'm sure Jason Knopf could provide a lot of detail. So Meghan should really, for just once, think about being open and honest, because by being so defensive in just these statements alone and giving such a hard time to produce anything, that in itself just shows that there's something that's being hidden. Because if you really didn't have any engagement or had no involvement, or your name was not on any communication with Omid Scobie for this book, then you should have no problem by saying, don't have any information to provide here because it doesn't exist. Obviously something exists. You see what I'm saying? So by putting up this defense, already she's shooting herself in the foot. Meghan should just really come forward and give what she has and just let it go. It's going to be bad when people expose her. There's going to be other people coming out and talking against her. So what is she going to do? Oh, I forgot again? No, that's not going to work in the United States. That's called perjury, and there is a jail sentence associated with that. And somehow I think that the Sussex team is a little bit out of their element at the moment, because they can't use the de facto standard excuse of racism if the decision doesn't go in her favor. Right? Anyhow, what do you guys think? We need truth and justice to prevail. Do we think that Meghan Markle is going to be successful in this dismissal coming up next week? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments below. But you guys know I will be back soon with more content concerning this. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.